Jake Carswell, 5 Matthew Scott, 6 Cameron Thatcher, 7 Shane Locke, 8 Callum Sweeney, 9 Josh Moore, 10 Lewis Williams, 11 Ryan Griffiths. And your Gosport lineup today sees Max Evans starting goal, 2 Harry Kavanagh, 3 Rory Williams, 4 Finley Bull-Smith, 6 Charlie Vasmer, 7 Bradley Tarbuck, 8 Asher Yearwood, and 9 Dan Wooden, who has come into the Gosport lineup today to make his 500th Gosport appearance today. So we'll hear more about that later in the broadcast. 11 Alfie Stanley, so he's joining him in attack. 19 Dutchy Hollins, 14 Jake Cope. And your Gosport bench today sees Samuel Fanian in the bench, 5 Joe Morrison, 20 Cameron Murray, 15 Paul Agbessi, and 16 Ethan Jones. So a lot of first team players in the starting 11 today for Gosport, but the big starter has to be that number 9 today, Dan Wooden. Like I just said there, starting his 500th game today. We will be hearing from him at the end of the game, just talking about getting that 500th appearance. So I'm looking forward to hearing that story later, because I'm sure he has some brilliant stories. And if you want to hear more about his stories, you can watch the Gosport podcast, where I did interview him a few months ago, where he did give us a lot of exclusive stories. But no, it's a big day today. He'd be wanting to get a goal. And Dutchy Hollins, he's back in the starting 11 today. Hasn't been here for the last 2 games. So he's a much welcomed back. And yeah, a lot of changes and a lot of strong players in our starting 11 today. But not to say Andover New Street, a lot of big players in their starting 11 as well. I'm sure many Gosport fans will recognise that Izzy Cabba, former Gosport player, and he played in the Pompey Academy. So yeah, welcome return to him. But definitely someone who could definitely cause a lot of damage to this Gosport team today. And another one of these players who could cause a lot of damage is Williams. Scored 6 goals out of 6 games. So he's another player who we're going to have to be watching out for today. But both teams, they're just coming in the centre circle. We're just about to kick off. Jeremy, you've just done the welcome ceremony for Dan Wooden. 500 games today. And what a landmark for him today.
In the modern game, it is a hell of an achievement. If you think there's not a lot of loyalty in any level of football these days, normally if someone waves a bigger paycheck at you, you tend to go. Now Dan's done it over 2 spells, sort of 2009 to 2016, and then again 2020 to 24. 500. Just think about it.
Mental, isn't it?
And really, he's in the top 4 now of the all-time appearance charts. I don't think, even bless him, I don't think he'll get near Tony Mahoney's 765, but that was done over 20 years. So, bless him. As much as I think he'd like to keep going, I don't think Dan will get that. But what he can do, I think he can just keep going until he decides he's had enough.
Definitely.
And he will still be as good a player.
Well, like I said, he's already written in Gosport folklore. I mean, one of 4 players to ever do that, make the 500 appearance mark. So that's absolutely brilliant. And like I said, we will be speaking to Dan at the end of the game today. But let's focus back on the FA Cup again. Andover New Street. They've already knocked a couple big teams out, latest being Thatcham Town. So league below, they've got the quality to beat these bigger teams. And can they do it again today?
Of course they can. Of course they can. They knocked us out of the Hampshire Senior Cup last year, and yeah, of course they can. It's the FA Cup. It's a free hit for them. They've got nothing to lose. They'll be motivated by coming here and playing at the AEI against a team from 2 levels above. Why not? I mean, it's down to Gosport to show the professionalism they need to get through if they're going to do it.
And Gosport, we have kicked off the half, and Road to Wembley starts officially now. As a ball, it's been hacked forward. Dan Wooden, the 500th appearance maker, he's already trying to make a move already. Just trying to put pressure on the new goalkeeper today, Fredericks. It's his first game in goal today for the team, coming in for Brian, who started every other game. And could that be a big loss for Andover today, the goalkeeping position?
Yes, I see that they've I think they might have switched it around actually, but yeah, of course. I mean, the keepers are going to be busy, I think, because I think you're going to see an open game of football today where Andover will be relaxed. They're not going to have any fear about coming at Gosport. And whereas Gosport, if they can start to get the ball down and play, then they're going to keep the Andover keeper busy. So you could see both keepers having a busy afternoon.
Well, definitely. And it's just gone out of play on the near side, just near the Gosport dugouts, where Conshi, he's hoping to take a throw. And a lot of these players, you have to admit, we already recognise already. And one of the famous faces being Izzy Cabba, former Gosport player. You know him well. And could he be a real dangerous force today?
Of course. It's the old sort of saying about players wanting to come back and prove a point. And Who's to say he doesn't?
Well, Dan Wooden, he's just snatched the ball off a Concha in this right-hand channel as he passes back into Tarbuck. And Tarbuck, he tries to float the ball into Kavanagh, nearly just getting on the end of it, but just too heavy hit the pass there, which sees it go out for a throw in just near the right corner flag. That is Laverstock's right corner flag. So, Gosport, we're already deep into the Andover half already. Currently 0-0 already. And like I said, we've had a lot of league appearances. This is our first cup game of the new season. And I suppose it's just nice for Pat, Joe, and all the players just to take a step away from the league and just have a little bit of cup action, maybe a little less stressful.
Yeah, I think it's a different kind of pressure because in the cups, you want to have a good run, especially in the FA Cup, where you want to get through to some of the sort of the later stages that you can qualify for. So that brings a little bit of pressure, and especially when you're the team that's expected to get a result, but it's different.
Definitely.
A good different.
Well, I think it's a much welcome return, considering, like I said, we've had a hard few not cup games, league games. One of them being Sholing. We had that 3-3 draw to Basingstoke, and like I said, these are hard teams, and they take a lot out of you, and just gives today a chance for us to have a little bit of a breather while still testing our mental, physical state, and just test us nicely as well.
It's a different challenge, isn't it? When you've got a team coming at you from 2 levels below, they will play with freedom, they will play with no fear. And that offers something different. Whereas when you're at league level, every team you play is also going to be different, but equally tough. And you know that there are no easy games. So perhaps this kind of different pressure today is a good thing.
Gosport working in attack. Ashley Yearwood crossing it into Dan Woodin. Dan Woodin on the edge of the box trying to tee one up for Alfie Stanley, but it's well cleared by Scott, but falls to Dutchy Hollins on the halfway line before eventually Caswell can smack one forward. And it might just find the run of Moore here, who does well to beat Finley Walsh-Smith in the pace battle. Just inside of the box, left of the penalty box, trying to get across his shot, and he does well, cutting inside, putting a low-driven shot in towards that bottom left corner. Max Evans has to get down low to make that save there. Brilliant attacking play from Moore there, exactly showing why he's already got 6 goals in 6 games.
That was a good move, and I'll tell you what, that caught Gosport out completely, didn't it? Quick ball over the top, and yet they're having to scamper back. He's got a few yards. Good effort, good save.
Well, as a result, Andover New Street, they will be given a corner. It's going to see Sweeney take it. He's made 3 assists this season. Can he do another one? As Scott, he's running towards the near post and he makes that transition back to Sweeney, who's going to cross one back into the danger zone. It's going to fall to the back post. And it looked like Rory Williams just hit out of play there, headed it down. But the referee, he's given a goal kick. I mean, this is the thing with this Andover New Street. We're going to be heavy possession today. We're going to be obviously a lot in the half, I would imagine. We're a pretty attacking side. But when they do go on the break, we've seen it there. That's where they're going to cause the most threat, I reckon, today.
I think the question that carries over from last Saturday and possibly from Monday's game at Sholing is you can have all the possession in the world, but it's what you do with it at the end that counts. Like there, exactly, he's given the ball away, okay? And now Gosport immediately are in trouble.
Well, Griffiths, he was nearly set through on goal there, but a well-intercepted challenge from Dutchy Hollins sees it win back for Borough. It's Ashley Yearwood. He plays Cope through on left at the penalty box. He's trying to get past Cushy. Doing well, but he passes back into Ashley Yearwood as he was just marked by too many green bodies surrounding him. Tarbuck, he plays a free ball back into Ashley Yearwood, just on the edge of the box and doing well, dancing past the whole of the Andover defence. But before he just ran into trouble there, running into Izzy Cabot, the former Gosport man. But just unlucky there. And Gosport, they're doing their defensive duties now. Rory Williams, he was just defending more and more. He's already causing a lot of problems early on. It's Gosport 0, Andover New Street 0. It's Gosport, we're trying to get counters. Alfie Stanley, he's currently running onto the goalkeeper, Fedrick, sorry. But like I said, Andover, they seem to be a good side. I mean, like I said, Wessex League team said we know a lot of the faces. And I mean, just like I said, a lot of these players, they have played at the high level, so they can cause a lot of problems for Gosport today.
Yeah, of course they can. And they've got a good side, as you say. And like I said, they're going to play with freedom and no fear. So that in itself causes Gosport a bit of a headache. Too many times over the last few years, Gosport have gone out of the FA Cup and other cup competitions to teams playing 1-2 leagues below them. And their FA Cup record, I hate to say it, is not good over the course of the 8 decades we've been a club. So any improvement on the recent years, take last year out of the equation when they lost to Welling in the 3rd qualifying round, but you think of Ramsgate and you think of other games where you've lost at the first hurdle and anything's improvement.
Well, I'm sure Gosport fans have a lot of, let's say, bad memories, shall we say, from that game against Andover New Street in the Hampshire Cup. We did get knocked out to them, and I suppose we could see a similar performance today with a lot of the players remaining in that team.
Yeah, I think the difference was that that was early in the season. It was Hampshire Senior Cup, and you had penalties after 90 minutes. Whereas here, you have another chance. It's a replay. Now, would it be hard to go to Andover and replay? Of course it would. But crucially, what it does give you is another chance. If you haven't quite got it right first time around, and this works both ways, then you have a second chance. You're not thrust into the pressure situation of a penalty shootout to get through. But unfortunately, because someone at Wembley decided it would be a good idea, that's what you're getting later in the competition.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of fans, they weren't too happy about that decision.
Well, no, I'm
and
not.
yeah, just ruins it for a lot of the local teams as well, littler clubs, and really it only benefits the bigger clubs. But hopefully we can make it that far in the competition. Like I said, last season we made it to Welling. I mean, that was a
third
pretty hard
qualifying
one to
round,
take. But Gosport, we're back on the attack once again. It was Charlie Vasmer there playing in a lofted ball, trying to find Alfie Stanley, but the ball just ran out of play. Beat him in the pace battle. Just unlucky there from Alfie Stanley. Got a good goal against Sholin on Bank Holiday Monday. Jeremy, I'm sure you saw the highlights from that game. I mean, it felt like 2 points dropped rather than 1 gained, I suppose, in that one. It's a hard one.
Weekend offered that sort of contrast, didn't it? Because last Saturday was 1 game, definitely, with Basingstoke. And then you go to Sholing, who are a tough side, but then you're 1-0 up for a long period.
Yeah.
You get the ball in the back of the net, have it ruled out at the end, and you might see it that way. But then you look at how much Sholing have improved as a side and a club.
Oh, 100%.
And is it that bad a result? Time will tell.
Well, Sholin, they've done brilliant this season. They're in the FA Cup today against Basingstoke. So that'd be one we're trying to keep you up to date with on here on Gosport Radio. But still 0-0 currently here. Andover, they're currently on the attack in this left-hand channel. They've just won a throw-in around 10 yards away from the corner flag as it's passed back into Sweeney. Sweeney passes it forward into Thatcher. Thatcher trying to skip past Tarbuck and Yearwood, but Yearwood there, just so cool under pressure. He wins it back before eventually Kavanagh gives it away. Tarbuck wins it back in the centre of the park, passing it into Dutchy Hollins. He's in the centre circle. He's currently trying to progress forward, but he's just dispossessed there by Carswell. Carswell, the CDM, he's coming forward, but he carelessly gives it away to Vasmer, who intercepts it there. And Dutchy Hollins, he tries to play a through ball, and it might just find the run of Alfie Stanley left of the penalty box, but he's dispossessed there by Qushi. I mean, both teams, they're just struggling to keep it, hold of their possession, I suppose, really. It's similar to that Basingstoke game. Both teams, they're giving it away carelessly. Seems passing an element we're struggling with.
That was Groundhog Day right there. A really good move up until the last third, and then a poor final ball. And that is sort of a little bit of a malaise that's crept into Gosport's game this season. Possession is good. You've got to have some end product. And it's one poor ball, but you mustn't. You literally had them 2-on-3 and a really good opportunity there to split them open. And it's a shame, but I'm sure the night is young. We've only played 10 minutes. So.
Well, I like these Alfie Stanley runs. He's making all the good runs at the moment. He did the same against Sherlin, and that did lead to his goal. Just unlucky with the one that got disallowed in the end, in the final few seconds as well in the game. So that one hurt for all the Gosport fans watching that one. I think there was a few unhappy Gosport fans that day. But it was a good away day. Sherlin definitely one I would recommend for a lot of fans. We met Wayne Shaw, a lovely bloke. We'll be getting him on the Gosport podcast soon. Made for a great interview. You got some fond memories of him as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've known Wayne since about 1994. I think I met him when he was playing at the old AFC Lymington. And we came here. He came here with Tottenham. I think it was a year or so later. And the heavens opened and he turned around to me and said, "You got your fork at the ready then?" And I said, "Why is that, Wayne?" He said, "Because I think you're going to blank, need it." And he wasn't wrong. And then half an hour later, the heavens really did open, game abandoned, and he turned around at me and said, "I told you, fella, you needed to get out there with your fork." And it was just typical Wayne, just a sense of humour. And I've got to know him reasonably well over the last 20 years. Top guy, top bloke.
Well, he's very famous, I suppose, for the FA Cup, eating that pie in the cup. So we talked a lot about that.
Oh, yes.
Pasty pie, I mean, yeah.
But he
said that pie, but I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was. It was a pasty, but
He's famous for his pies.
Yeah.
Wayne,
No, that was a good interview. So you have to stay out watching that. And like I said, we'll be interviewing Dan Wooden today, who's currently got hold of the ball in the centre circle. So he lays one out wide into former Pompey man Dutchy Hollins. Now it's into Roy Williams. He lays on Cope just by the left corner flag. He's looking to make that cross, but he's just caught in the left side of the penalty box as he passes back into Williams. He's looking to cut inside, making that cross, but he's going to pass it back into Dutchy Hollins. Hollins forward into Jake Cope. Jake Cope turns. He passes into Yearwood. Yearwood, edge of the box. He plays a pass into Jake Cope. Jake Cope looks up, finds Dan Wooden, and Dan Wooden scores on his 500th appearance today. What a way to mark your 500th appearance for Dan Wooden. So cool under pressure. Just tapped it in from close distance. We're just looking around to see whether the third official has given it. It has been given, and Dan Wooden marks his 500th appearance with a goal today. Brilliant stuff from Dan Wooden, and that was a lovely ball in from Jake Cope, just against the floor, and Gosport do have the 1-0 lead in this FA Cup journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, goal for Gosport Borough scored in the 11th minute, and you knew it just had to be him. Number 9, Dan Wooden.
Well, Jeremy, you said it yourself there. It was only going to be one man who would score today. Obviously, Dan Wooden.
Yeah, it just puts the icing on the cake, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, a great start though, and that is much better. The move, the final ball, the finish. That's what you want.
Well, I suppose it's Jay Cope as well. He came in today. I mean, Fanny Ann, he's been starting the last few games. But I suppose it is nice to see Jay Cope in that left mid position. Started more as a CDM last season, but he looks to be a real good left midder and a good winger with those crosses and just really fits that role. And I'm sure Pat and Joe have recognised that now.
Yeah, you want to tweet, don't you?
Yeah.
So that's fine. I will take it from you while you're doing that. Yeah, I like Jake as a player. He's a good lad, gives you 100% every game, and offers you something different. And Gosport now 1-0 up with 12 minutes on the clock here. James is just updating social media. So I've got you for the next minute or so. Charlie Wasmer then recycling the ball at the back and just bringing Rory Williams into the game, who's on the halfway line. Looks up, long ball over the top. I'm not quite sure what he thought he was trying to do there. It was a diagonal long ball, travelled some 50 yards into touch for a goal kick. So Andover just waiting to get the ball back from the Borough fans behind the goal. There it comes. And then the visitors will get this game back up and running. But if you have just joined us, it is Gosport 1 Andover New Street 0. Dan Wooden, who else? Of course, it had to be him, didn't it? But Andover, though, won't be put off by this, I don't think. They're only a goal down, and as we saw last week, that means very little. Gosport dragging themselves back from 2 goals down to draw with Basingstoke. Now, I'm not inviting it, but football's a fickle game. Things can change. But here come Gosport again down the left. Here's Alfie Stanley, and he's combining with the aforementioned Cope, who has back on the ball now down the left. Gosport just losing possession there, just as they were just starting to build a good move down the left there. And they do have it back now, and they will have another chance at going forward, James.
As it's Ashley Eward who lays the pass into Jake Cope. Jake Cope in a similar position to where he got that assist. The referee has blown up for a corner ball there as he was tripped to the floor. Oh, free kick, was it?
It's a free kick. Yeah, now
He did go down heavy there.
Yeah, Cope got clipped. I'm not sure how much intent. I think that was more clumsiness than anything else, but that's going to give Gosport a good set piece in an advantageous position on the left of the area. So I imagine this is going to get driven in hard and low.
Well, it'd be nice if Dan Wooden could get his second today. We jokingly said he's going to get a hat-trick today to seal the icing on the cake. I mean, I think he took it too literally because it does look like he could do that today. Already got a goal within the first 12 minutes here at the AI Stadium. It is Gosport 1, Andover New Street 0. And Gosport, we do have a free kick in a deadly area. Looks like it's going to be Tarbuck drilling this in. As he raises his hand, he drills in a ball. It's an in-swinger. It finds the head of Dutchy Hollins, who flicks it back. It's going to find Finley Walsh-Smith right at the penalty box. He passes back into Kavanagh. Kavanagh, he cuts inside. Is he going to pass? Is he going to shoot? He does pass. He tries to find the head of Vasma, and it's flicked towards goal, and it's finished by Alfie Stanley, who slots in the bottom right corner. Alfie Stanley with a goal. And we're in the first 16 minutes here at the AI Stadium. Stanley that flicks it in the bottom corner. Nah, I would have said it was Stanley with that goal. Yeah, Stanley. Stanley with a beautiful finish there. And I don't know, Stanley, he looks to be really in form this season. That is his 4th goal in the last 3 games. Absolutely mental, the former Pompey man. Really looks like he's finding his form at the moment. And just honestly, Gosport look like they're going to be running riot today. Well, Jeremy, I don't think we were expecting this early on. 2 goals leading. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a much perfect start.
No, it's a comfortable cushion. It's a comfortable cushion, that's for sure. And Gosport actually just starting to settle down on the ball now and playing with a bit of confidence. And yeah, there was a tiny little bit of confusion because I thought initially that might have been Charlie's finish, but it was Alfie. And we did have the goal checked, and yes, it's Alfie Stanley. Now here come Gosport again down the left while James is tweeting. might not be able to keep up. And there is the goal scorer himself, Stanley, just losing possession. And Charlie Wasmer, who could have had the goal there, has had to do a little bit of cleaning up. Now, Gosport trying to break forward. The ball was over the top. New Street do deal with it. Now, they've put Wooden through almost. I was going to say that was a back pass, but that was inviting down Wooden to run onto the defence. And if he got onto the end of that, he would have been absolutely clean through. Now, at the other end, Evans has had to come flying out to collect a through ball. Suddenly, it's just end to end, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
And the other. But as a paying spectator and as a member of the media, it's what you want to see. And let's not forget, there is absolutely no disgrace in this for Andover New Street at all. They come here and they will give it a good go. And even at 2-0, they're not out of the game. Now, here comes Lewis Williams. It goes through. Timely challenge there from Finn Walsh-Smith. Playing with maturity, such maturity for an 18-year-old there. And just Gosport just stopping to check if the referee was going to give a free kick. And Andover sort of half-heartedly appealed for the free kick, but nothing doing. It was just a really good, well-timed challenge from Walsh-Smith there. Kavanagh looking for Wooden with a ball over the top. But Gosport recycle. Tarbuck, not the best ball from him. Are you ready to come back?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing. I could see you doing a lot of the commentary today because I do think we're going to see a lot of goals here at the AI Stadium.
Okay.
2 goals within the first 17 minutes. Absolutely mental. And Gosport, they're already back on the attack. It's Jake Cope on the ball. He's already got 1 assist today as he passes on to Asher Yearwood. Asher Yearwood, he's currently striding down this left-hand channel. Although he is surrounded by green bodies around him, he's currently up against number 6, which is Thatcher. But he does do well to get past him as he passes back into Williams. Williams floats in the ball, finding the head of Dan Wooden, and keeper Fredericks is just going to come out and collect it there. And Gosport, we look to be doing really well with all these aerial battles today, and it looks like this Andover side, they can't handle them.
Well, I think I was just going to say, because I was going to come up with a point of view there, James, but I thought Andover were going to get a bit of an attack moving in the last third. Again, Finn Walsh-Smith.
Yeah, having a good game today.
Yes.
As he passes into Bradley Tarbuck. Bradley Tarbuck, he's just got past the halfway line. As he passes it into Alfie Stanley. Can Alfie Stanley keep it in play? He does do well enough just to keep it on play as he passes back into Kavanagh. Kavanagh looks up 20 yards away from goal as he passes back into Finley Walsh-Smith. Finley Walsh-Smith. We were just saying that he's done brilliant defensive duties today. Can he get an assist or goal today? Be nice to see. But Jay Cope, he's already got 1 assist today as he cuts inside of Scott. He's still progressing forward. He might go for a shot, and he forces a brilliant save from Fredericks. He has to dive to his right. Just gets one hand to the ball to stop it going in the back of the net. Good shot from Jay Cope early on, and Bradley Tarbuck on the near side. He just brings 11 Griffiths to the floor there. I mean, Jay Cope, he's causing all the danger down the left-hand channel, and he looks to be a real danger and menace today.
Having a great game, isn't he? And
really
I
is.
said about 5 minutes ago, he offers something different for me. He never has a bad game. He always gives you 100%, and we're seeing that with him again today. And yes, I think Gosport are starting to stamp their authority on this, and they need to keep doing that, because the minute they stop doing that, then you can guarantee that the visitors will try and find a way back in. But yeah, you're right, alluding to what we were discussing a few minutes ago. It's Gosport's aerial power in the New Street area that is causing the visitors all sorts of problems. And that's something that they will need to keep playing on for the rest of the game.
And I suppose this is something we've been working on all season, really. I mean, in the league, we haven't found too much success through. I mean, if you look at all the set pieces we've done, we haven't really found too much success. And I would imagine Pat and Joe, they would have recognised this, and a lot of improvement would have been done during this season on it.
I think the difference is, and I'm not being in any way disrespectful, I promise you, but at Southern League level, the homework that goes in to an opponent is probably a lot more than it would be at Wessex level. So I think that's sort of something that you need to play on.
Well, yeah, as you just said there, Gosport, we're trying to just carve out another attack again, but it's gone out of play. As Thatcher, he smashes one forward, it goes out of play, and Finley Walsh-Smith, he's going to take it as he passes back into Charlie Vasmer. Vasmer, he's just playing outside of the Gosport box as he lays one into Rory Williams. Rory Williams, he might want to pounce forward as he's still inside Gosport's own half. He lays a through ball, trying to find Yearwood, and he does well, just cushioning the ball, making sure Locke can't get on the end of it, and doing well to turn. And he lays one into Jake Cope, who lays one back into Roy Williams. Williams plays against the face of goal, and it trickles all the way back into Harry Kavanagh, right at the penalty box. He might be looking to put a ball into the box this time, as he lays one into it, trying to find the back post. It's headed down by Yearwood, and Stanley just not tall enough, able to get on the end of that loose ball. I mean, Stanley, that's just where a few inches would have helped you there.
Yeah, difficult one for Yearwood. He had to sort of twist his body and try and get that on target, and tough one for him. But again, it's Gosport's aerial dominance in the Andover New Street box that is continuing to cause issues there.
Well, I did find it funny when we were playing Sholin. One of the Sholin defenders actually, not too mean about his height. I think it was something like, go mark the short one over there. And then he shut them up when he got the goal. So brilliant stuff from Stanley. He's already got 1 goal this afternoon. Can he add another one to that tally? We'll have to wait. It's Gosport. We're currently back on the attack again. And we have just won a throw in by Pat and Joe Stuggars. Sees Kavanagh take it as he passes back into Finley Bull-Smith in his own half. He passes into Vasma. And then he's back into Rory Williams inside his own half as he's progressing forward. He's got Jake Cope to the left of him making that run. But unfortunately, it was good defending there from Koshi, just keeping him in that position. But he plays one into Stanley, just in the centre of the park, who passes it back into Rory Williams. And Rory Williams on the outside of his boot, he plays one back into Max Evans in goal. Max Evans, he hasn't been tested at all so far within the first 20 minutes here. It is Gosport 2, Andover New Street 0. As Tarbuck, he plays a back heel into Finley Bull-Smith, around 30 yards away from goal. As Kavanagh, he tries to lay one into forward into Tarbuck, but Tarbuck just couldn't get on the end of it. While boomerangs back into Kavanagh, he's coming forward. As he lays one into Asher Yearwood. Yearwood just can't control it properly. Still does well to keep it in play as he passes it into Jake Cope. Jake Cope, he's on the edge of the box as he's trying to pass one back into Kavanagh, and he does pass one back into Kavanagh. Kavanagh looks up. Well, it's almost like we're tying this Andover New Street, isn't it? We're just toying with them.
Yeah, it's Paul's just said that, sat to my right, but Gosport are enjoying.
Well, Dan Woodin, he's got on the head, and Alfie Stanley, he tries to follow it up, but instead it finds the head of Carswell, who headers it out.
Yeah, I was going to say they're enjoying a really good spell of possession there. And I've been a little bit late with that challenge. That was good fortune. He wasn't penalised by the referee. I thought that was a little bit clumsy and a little late.
Well, Kavanagh, he throws the throw-in back into Finley Bull-Smith. Finley Bull-Smith, he's done brilliant today within the first 30 minutes. As he lays one back into a skipper, Rory Williams. He looks up. He passes it into Dutchy Hollins in the centre circle. And then he puts one into this right-hand channel into Harry Kavanagh, and it's well controlled as he cuts in the side of Griffiths. He passes back into Finley Bull-Smith. Finley Bull-Smith into Bradley Tarbuck outside of the box, 20 yards away from goal. He's doing well, just trying to turn, trying to get rid of that pressure from Thatcher, and does well. Pretty much every Andover New Street body is back defending. It's Alfie Stanley, he's on the ball, cushioning it, passing it into Kavanagh. I mean, the Andover New Street managers, they're not happy at all. They're telling the team to move forward, try and escape this deadly pressure Gosport's currently putting on. But Gosport, they're just applying very heavy pressure. It's currently all being Gosport within the first 20 or so minutes here. I will update you with some of the scores when it goes out of play, and it has just gone out of play, so it gives me time to run you through some of the scores.
That's okay. With you, I can sort of hold the fort while you have a look if you like.
Well, I mean, there is loads of FA Cup games today, so
a minute to pick them up, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, just see what you can find. But at the moment, not a lot going on out there. If you have just joined us, it's Gosport 2 Andover New Street 0 with how long playing, Mr. Davis? He's taking my clock away from me. Don't do that. 24 minutes. There you go. 24 minutes. So Gosport now just casually stroking the ball around in their own final third. But now they're showing a little bit of urgency again going forward. Kavanagh on the right-hand side just stops and checks and has got Tarbuck behind. Tarbuck and then Williams just linking up well within there. Gosport are just literally stroking the ball around and not doing too much with it. But what they are managing to do is frustrate the visitors because the visitors at the moment cannot.
I mean, just running rapid today, isn't he, Dan Woodin? Surely he's got to be looking for that hat-trick now.
Oh, yeah, try stopping him. Now, there's some... What is going? Yeah, I think it's
just Jake Cope. Yeah,
as an injury to Jake Cope, so that's not quite so good for Gosport. But especially when he's had such a good game so far. But no, Dan has got his tail up. He really has. It's such a landmark afternoon for him. Been given the armband, and his family here. He's got the team that the youth team that he coaches in his spare time. They're all here as mascots. And he is marking his 500th appearance in some style, James. He really is. Now, we're having a water break due to the injury to Cope. He was on his feet. Now, Liv Bailey, the physio's out having a look and a chat. He's on his feet, so that's good news. But is it going to be a sub, or is he going to just try and run this off in football parlance? But we will see. He's walking very gingerly back towards the dugouts, so we'll have to see whether that is the end of his game or whether he'll be okay. But
I'm going to get these scores.
Now we have an extra guest up here. in the press box is just having a word in my ear while James is tweeting. That's all right.
And I can't find any FA Cup scores.
No, so it's fine. We're a very welcoming bunch up here in the box, aren't we, James?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we are. So, we are to our fans anyway, put it that way. So the game yet to restart. Now Cope hasn't yet got off the pitch, so it looks as if there is a change.
So it will be Jake Cope. He's coming off for Cameron Murray.
Coming on number 20, Cam Murray, replacing number 14, Jake Cope.
Jeremy, that's a real shame to lose Jake Cope. He's been absolutely insane this afternoon, doing crosses like it's easy. He's already got 1 assist. And I know he's coming off within the first 27 minutes, but he's definitely done his part today.
He's already played more than his part. And for Cam Murray, a little pocket rocket that he is a perfect made replacement, but they are going to have to rejig the formation ever so slightly, I think. But yeah, that is such a shame for Jake. And hopefully it won't be too serious.
Definitely.
So James is tweeting, so I'll talk you through it. The Gosport won a throw 2/3 of the pitch way down on the right-hand side. Kavanagh takes quickly. Yearwood turns, looks, stops, checks, still has the ball under pressure. Walsh-Smith behind it, and then the ball travelling all the way back to Wasmer in his own half. Out left to wide left with Rory Williams as Gosport look to build again. Williams now picking out Kavanagh. It's actually a really nice crossfield pass, but the first touch from Kavanagh heavy, and I think that's going to be left to run out for a goal kick to the visitors Andover New Street. So Gosport now 3-0 up in this FA Cup first qualifying round tie against Andover New Street from the Wessex League Premier Division. And on paper, you look at this tie and you really, really would think that it's going to be a tough one for Gosport. Given FA Cup notoriety, it's a perfect giant killing opportunity. But what Gosport have done is they played well this afternoon, and they have taken their chance. They have taken their chances and taken them well. James.
Definitely.
Are you back?
Not just yet. Not just yet.
So Cam Murray then, just on a substitute, as Gosport do try and clear their lines. Andover now do have it all to do, but as we saw last week in the league game against Basingstoke, nothing's impossible in football, really. We've seen it. Gosport coming back from 3-1 down to draw 3-3. So Andover only need to get 1 goal back, and then this is game back on. So, but whereas I think if Gosport were to get a 4th at this point, that would be it all done and dusted at this point. So, still going?
No, back now.
Back.
Just so much to tweet in that short period.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's a lot to say, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. And especially with this action-packed half already. Already 3 goals up to 0. Andover New Street, they just don't look like getting back in this game. I mean, it is still theoretically possible. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's the FA Cup. There's a lot of magic that goes on with this competition. So who says they can't come back from this? But at the moment, it looks like they're going to need a miracle in order.
Yeah, I think they're going to need to go some to do it. They're going to need to go some to do it. But yeah, the FA Cup itself, I've always loved it since I was a young lad. This is going to make me sound really old now, but I remember sort of seeing it for the first time in '88.
Wow!
When Wimbledon beat Liverpool in that FA Cup final, and it just shows you that for me sums up that particular game sums up what it is all about. Nobody gave Wimbledon a cat's chance in hell of beating Liverpool, and they did.
Well, exactly.
I was upset, and that was it. I was hooked. You know, you've got the teams that aren't expected to beat the bigger teams, yet they do. And you had replays, you had semi-finals at neutral grounds rather than Wembley. That is what it was all about.
Well, that's the best bit about the FA Cup. I know a lot of people write it off saying the magic's not there, but it really is. I mean, if you look at Maidstone last season, they did brilliant. I mean, even if you look at Hampton Waterlooville, but I'm going to cut myself off as Harry Kavanagh. He's won a ball. He plays in Stanley. Stanley tries to lay one back into Dan Wood, and Dan, he's desperately looking for his hat-trick today. I mean, I think I deserve a little bit of credit for it. What? Oh, I was not expecting that. Bradley Tarber. That just came from nowhere there. 30 yards away from goal. Unleashed a shot. It was a rocket just heading towards that top left corner. I don't think anyone in the stadium was expecting that there.
No. The ball
no.
But, yeah, no, you were talking about having at Waterlooville. They are the biggest local case in
definitely.
Point, aren't they? Taking away Pompey beating Man United and getting to winning the FA Cup in 2008. Havant going to Liverpool.
Mental.
And leading twice at Anfield. That again, Is it?
Well, Yearwood, he chips one forward, and Gosport, we will be looking for some FA Cup magic today. As Kavanagh right at the penalty box, he lays one into Cameron Murray. Murray goes sliding in, trying to thread a ball in, but instead finds, I think it was Phillips there, who just knocked it out of play on the near
And
side.
nearly took Jack out.
He did, yeah. I was watching that.
Jack nearly got taken out there.
Well, Kavanagh, he plays a short corner. Hopefully, Jack will be all right with this one. As Tarbuck, he lays one in towards the back post, trying to find Asher Yearwood, but it's well dealt with by Scott there, who heads one forward. Now, Griffiths, he's running at the Gosport defence, but he just runs straight to Rory Williams there, and he passes it into Charlie Vasma. Vasma, he's trying to play a low-driven free ball into Harlands, but he loses the ball. But immediately, Sweeney, he just gives it away to Kavanagh, and it's Andover New Street. They just can't keep hold of the ball. I would imagine the possession, it must be mental. 90% Gosport Borough, even higher, I would imagine.
I'd say it's about 90%. Yeah.
But Andover, they just really cannot get anything into this game at the moment. As Tarbuck, he's in this left-hand channel, trying to cut inside the cushy. He's just playing with the defenders. He rolls one back into Charlie Vasma, stood on the halfway line. As he passes outside into Dutchy Hollins. He passes into Williams. He looks up. He plays into Asher Yearwood. He's our top goal scorer this season. Well, at least the league top goal scorer now, as I think Alfie Stanley may have taken his record now. 6 goals in all competitions. And Panjo, just looking what they were saying over there, I think they wanted to, they might want to stop themselves in. Maybe they could grab a goal today.
Well, both have had sort of their own memories of the FA Cup, but...
Well, Williams, he's stretching down this left-hand channel. He tries to lay in a ball, just goes over everyone and even the goal net. And once again, Fredericks in goal. He's not happy with the defence. He's saying that attack should have been shut down a lot more early there. And I suppose it's hard with this Andover New Street defence. They're not used to coming up against such hard attackers. I mean, they've all got good calibre. I mean, Yearwood, if we're being realistic, he could play in the league above. Alfie Stanley, ex-Pompey, and then Dan Wooden, a non-league veteran.
But that's the FA Cup for you. That's cup football. You know, those are the opportunities as a player you strive for. You know, you want to be playing the bigger and better teams and trying to bring them down. And so they'd have been excited rather than nervous about it, I would suspect.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, it's the furthest they've ever got in the FA Cup, and it does look like it's going to be coming to an end today.
First there, please. But certainly, I think if Gosport were to get another one now, that might be true. But a goal for Andover now, and they're back in it. So...
Well, Asher Yearwood, he's currently once again toying with that left back as he lays the ball, trying to find Cameron Murray. Cameron Murray, he pushes the midfielder Thatcher off the ball there. And as a result, the referee has given a free kick. And maybe this just gives Andover a chance just to reformate, give them a little chance to attack as... Fredericks, he lays across, finding the head of Look there, the skipper, as he passes it into number 9, Moore. He's had 6 goals, and he did have an early chance in the game to give Andover the lead. Did force a good save from Max Evans early on, but other than that, that's been the bulk of Andover's possession. It is still Gosport 3, Andover New Street 0, but unfortunately, there has been an Andover player that has gone down. It is number 10, Williams. Another player who's got a lot of goals early on. He's played all of Andover's game this season, scored 4 times as well. And it does look like he's okay to continue.
Yeah, he's okay. He's run that one off. But, yeah, Andover I have a good affinity with. They're a sort of an up-and-coming club, very welcoming club. And everybody who's been up to speak to us here in the press box, very, very genial. It's lovely. And, and I like that. I hope football never loses that.
Well, Dan Wooden, he's just trying to win the ball after Fredericks. He's come out of his box. Reminded me a little bit of that Pompey Luton game where the keeper just came out. But I suppose Fredericks, he did a lot better there.
I was there for that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that was utter madness, and cleared out 2 Pompey players and got a red card because he'd already been booked for time wasting. Yeah, he took a bit of a gamble there, didn't he, Fredericks? But did just enough.
Well, it looked like after he went sliding in on that one play, he just gave up and thought, I've already got this red card. I might as well take the other player out.
Yeah, going back to that Luton game, I did think at the time, I said to my son, who I went with, I said, he's gone. I said, you knew after the first challenge. I said, he's at it. He's gone.
Well, Pompey, they've had a brilliant start to championship life. Gosport, we've got 5 points in our first few games here. I mean, Gosport, you could say that about all the Southern League teams so far. It looks like no team, other than AFC Tottenham and Basingstoke, has really set the world alight this season. Not compared to last season, where Chesham, they were winning every game. You had Salisbury, they had a good start to the season. But it doesn't look like that's the same case this season.
I think it's going to be a more open division this year if you're talking about the Southern Premier. Yes, Chesham ran away with it last year because they were very machine-like. They just churned out the victories and they won it at Cantor. But, yeah, I think you've got Tottenham. I think you've got to look at Walton and Hersham. I think look out for Merthyr, because I think they might get their act together. Gloucester, who have come down, they look a good side. It's going to be very, very open this year and very, very tough. And nobody's going to run without a way with it this year. Nobody.
Well, it makes for a better league, I suppose, in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. If you look at the Premier League, even, for example, Man City, they're just tuning out every win, and Arsenal as well. And there's really only a 2-horse race. But at least with this league, it looks like you said, it's going to be more open. And even with Tottenham, I suppose they're considered a juggernaut with the likes of Charlie Austin and all those players. But like I said, Austin hasn't even got a goal this season, and maybe even he's finding the difficulties hard.
I think with Charlie Austin, he's dropping down how many levels to play for Tottenham, but he's going to be good when he comes on. But he is sort of on the way down at the end of his career. I don't think anybody could argue that fact. So I think he'll be more of a super sub for Tottenham, whereas they've got an abundance of talent there, and they've got an abundance of good experienced players. So they should have the strength in depth to be up there at the end, Tottenham. Really, they should.
Well, hopefully it will be a good summer league, and we will be covering a lot of these games on Gosport Radio, so make sure to like, subscribe to the channel and all of those good things. But Andover New Street, they have just won a ball. Well, it's a free kick just near the Harry Mitson stand, 30 yards away from goal. It's in this right-hand channel. It's currently Sweeney who's hovering over it as he lays one in. Just narrowly trying to find Thatcher there, but instead finds Ashley Yearwood, who just hooks one forward. He passes into Stanley, and once again, it's well dealt with by the Gosport defence. It's currently Rory Williams inside his own box. He passes it into Alfie Stanley. The striker, he's playing very defensively at the moment, but he passes back into Charlie Vasmer, who just holds up the play there, giving Alfie Stanley a chance to sprint up the pitch as Vasmer. He looks up. He's going to go for an area ball, lofting one forward. It finds Stan Wooden, who touches it down well, but just a heavy touch there. Sees Sweeney win it just in the centre of the park. He lays one back into Scott, and Scott, he chips one forward, trying to find Locke, but instead finds Rory Williams, who just volleys one forward, finding Ashley Yearwood. He pokes one forward into Dutchy Hollins. Gosport, they're riding the attacker once again. As Hollins, he floats one forward, trying to find Ashley Yearwood. Ashley Yearwood, he's currently battling with Izzy Cabra in this left-hand channel, just near the left corner flag, and it looked like Ashley Yearwood. He was just victorious there in winning the ball before Izzy Cabra could eventually just kick it out of play. Gosport, we have won the throw-in as a result. It does look like Bradley Tarbuck will be taking his throw-in. Every Gosport player, other than Max Evans, obviously, is in Andover's half, so we will be looking to get that fourth, hopefully finishing off the game here. As Williams, he tries to poke a ball forward. He does lose the ball, just giving Andover a chance to break here. As Sweeney, he's on the ball, threading the ball forward, trying to find Griffiths. As Griffiths, he's coming up against Rory Williams, but the strength of the captain just sees him wrestled off the ball there as he throws the ball forward into Vasmer, just inside the Gosport half. And I mean, I think even the strength of our defence is just thrown Andover heavily off, shall we say.
I think the fact they've conceded 3 rapid-fire goals has thrown them off
Yeah.
a bit, but here comes Gosport again.
Oh, Kavanagh, can he keep it in play? Oh, no, just.
But 5 minutes till half time anyway, and I don't think there'll be a lot of stoppages
No.
at the end of this one.
Well, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better half as a Gosport point of view. Andover New Street, I mean, they'll be looking to get a lot more goals. I mean, if you look at their bench, they do have a fair few attackers. They've got the 5 substitutes. I'm pretty sure the same rule still fits with the FA Cup format, where they're 5 substitutions.
5 from 7.
Exactly.
5 from 7. Yeah, in the Southern League it's 5 from 5, but in this competition you can name up to 7. But Gosport have only named the 5, and Andover have only named 6. So I imagine they brought their whole squad, and
definitely
they can use 5 from those 6 substitutes.
Well, I mean, for a lot of these players, this will be one of the biggest games in their history, probably. I mean, they won't get a lot of bigger games than this. Obviously, Gosport, it's a brilliant stadium. We got a lot of fans. I mean, they're obviously step 8 with highest step. I mean, you just want all of these players to experience this game, don't you?
Yeah,
And
I think when you're a team from 2 leagues below, that's what you want. You want to go to, I won't say better grounds, because I think that is demeaning and probably disrespectful, but you want to go to more senior clubs, shall we say, and test yourself.
Definitely. That's, more traditional, shall we say. I mean, Gosport.
Yes,
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, actually, to be fair to Andover, they are one of the oldest clubs in Britain. They were established in 1890, so they do have the history.
They do.
But I suppose just the size, really.
And I've been to Foxcott Park on a number of occasions, and I personally love it up there. I think it's brilliant. You never fail to get anything other than a warm welcome when you go there. So, Yeah, lovely club up there. Lovely.
Could you see them being a club that could challenge maybe for promotion in a few seasons' time?
Why
Or
not
maybe even this season?
Why
Yeah,
not?
exactly.
The Wessex League. Let's watch this.
Oh, Yearwood, he's managed to pounce in the box. But it's good defending from former Gosport man Izzy Cabba there, just shielding it so Griffiths could come out and collect it there.
I'm going to say that the Wessex League this season is probably the most open it's ever been, because Moneyfields were promoted last season into the Southern League Central. Sorry, the Isthmian League Central. So what you're left with is a number of clubs, any number of clubs that can challenge. You've got to look at Portchester, obviously. Baffins are having a flying start. Sherborne, Portland, Brockenhurst, and Andover New Street. So yeah, it's a tough league, but it's an open one.
Well, Gosport, we're back on the attack once again. Tarbuck wins it just outside of the box. He goes for a shot. It's spilled by Fredericks, and Alfie Stanley converts it. He fires one past the keeper, just punishing the keeper for that poor mistake there. And Alfie Stanley, he grabs his second today. And just like that, Dan Woodin, he's got 2 goals today. Alfie Stanley, he's got 2 goals today. And it's just been that attacking force that has really been punishing this Andover New Street side today. Matthew Fredericks, he just spilled the ball, gifting it to the attacker there. Alfie Stanley, the former Pompey man, he won't have many easier goals than that. And that is just brilliant attack and work there.
Scored in the 43rd minute. The scorer, his second of the game, number 11, Alfie Stanley.
Well, Jeremy, is that now game, sat, match?
I think. Yes, I think so. I think that unless you're seeing something spectacular and unthinkable in the second half, I'd have to venture that, yes, I think that's probably the one that's done it. But I think what Andover can now do is relax a bit more, because they know that they've got a less of a chance of getting through and getting the result. So what that could mean is that they can now relax, express themselves, and just try and enjoy the occasion for what it is. And James is tweeting, so I'll carry you through. 2 minutes, not less than that, 90 seconds until half time here. Gosport Borough 4, Andover New Street 0. Gosport have played magnificently in this first half, and Andover, despite anything they tried, have not had an answer to it. 2 goals each from Wooden and Stanley, and Gosport romping into the lead, which, okay, it's a different challenge from the league, but it's still a confidence builder, because Gosport go back into league action next Saturday when they have Tiverton here. Now, that's a tough challenge in its own right. Any league game is. And here's the board. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has indicated there will be a minimum of 2 minutes of added time. 2 minutes. So, yeah, James is still tweeting, but I had to break off and do my tannoy duties there. As Andover try a wildly speculative effort from about 35 yards that was always rising, always going over the bar. And, yeah, so that's the match situation as we have it. Gosport 4, Andover 0. We are going into the first of those 2 minutes now. We're just ticking down to the end of the first 45 as we speak, James.
Well, as you just alluded to there, it's nearly the half time. I mean, Gosport, we've had the perfect start to the second half. You can only hope it's going to be a similar second half, but Gosport, we're already looking for that fifth. Tarbuck on the ball. He's come close already, flying the shot just inches wide of the top left corner. And can Gosport find the fifth just before this half-time break? As Finley Will-Smith, he plays the ball into Kavanagh. Well kept in play. He's running across the byline, just trying to get a shot across, but he passes it into Asher Yearwood. Yearwood, he tries to turn his man, flick one back into Cameron Murray as he passes back into Rory Williams. Rory Williams doing well, just keep it in play, and he passes it into Kavanagh. I mean, Gosport, we are really just playing it around in this left channel, trying to get across that cross. But instead, Williams' cross, it does find Castwell as he hooks one away. It's going to be chased down by Charlie Fassman inside his own half. He flicks it into Dutchy Hollins. I mean, I will try and get you some of the FA results, but I mean, currently I can't find any. It looks like they're not really promoting many. I think it's just because of the sheer amount there are of games being played. I can let you know some of the Premier League halftime scores, so I'll let you know about that once the halftime whistle goes here. Still, Gosport 4, Andover New Street 0. It does look like the half may be finishing. I can see the referee's just pulled out his whistle.
Well, the 2 minutes here are not quite up, but it's not long until they will be. So I think it's only literally a matter of 20 seconds or so until such time.
Well, Fredericks, he's got a goal kick, and I imagine he's just going to take all the time with this. Both teams don't really need to play these extra few seconds. So, like you said, I can't imagine there'd be too much longer left to play in this half. As Fredericks, he's got a goal kick. Maybe Andover can find a goal. But Fredericks, he smashes one forward, trying to find a header Sweeney, but instead finds Dutchy Hollins, who knocks one down into Asher Yearwood. He flicks it back into Rory Williams, who tries to chip one forward into Bradley Tarbuck, still inside our own half. Tarbuck, he plays a free ball into Dutchy Hollins, who lays one off into Stanley. Stanley lays a lovely ball back into Asher Yearwood, but it's good defensive work from Cronshaw there, just getting back, doing his defensive duties, and just getting in front of Asher Yearwood. And the referee has put the whistle to his mouth, and it has finished here, half time. Gosport 4, Andover New Street 0. So it's going to take an absolute miracle for the visitors to get back into this game. I'll run you through some of the Premier League scores while we're currently finished here. It is Brentford 1, Southampton 0, Everton 0, Bournemouth 0. So both teams at the bottom of the table. Everton really do need to be taking the 3 points here. Bournemouth, they've had a good start to the season, but it's goalless there. Ipswich, they've got a goal against Fulham. And that could definitely be an interesting game. Ipswich, they've brought in a fair few players in the transfer window. Deadline day obviously finished yesterday, but it's 1-1 there. Leicester, they're trailing 1-0 to Aston Villa. And Nottingham Forest, they're drawing 1-1 to Wolves. And in the later kickoff, West Ham will be hosting Man City. And with Arsenal dropping points today, Man City will be looking to pounce on that. But like I said, we'll be returning back for commentary of the second half by Gosport 4, Andover New Street 0.
Andover New Street Club Secretary Kerry Tobin, very happy birthday to both of you. DJ, take it away.